For this crochet project, you're going to need your F crochet hook or 4mm crochet hook, as well as a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. The yarn that I'm using a gorgeous red colored yarn from Red Heart, and then 100% cotton green yarn from I Love This Cotton. For this rose, we're going to start with a slip knot, so whatever color rose that you want, and then just take the yarn, fold it over on itself, put your crochet hook through the loop, hold the base with your middle finger and thumb, just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain, just yarn over and bring your crochet hook through the loop for a chain of 1, 2. I'm just going to show you a few, showing you how to make your chain. 3, 4, and when you come back, I'm going to show you how large my chain is. Mine is a chain of 100, so I made a chain of 100. Then you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to go into the third chain from the hook. So go into the third chain from the hook. You're going to bring up a loop, and then you're going to make a single crochet, just yarn over and go through both for a single crochet. Then you're going to make a half double crochet into the same stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through all 3 for a half double crochet. Then you're going to make 3 double crochet, yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over and go through 2 remaining, yarn over and go through 2. Then you're going to make 2 more double crochet in the same stitch. Then you're going to make a half double crochet in the same stitch. Then you're going to make a single crochet in the same stitch. Then you're going to skip, we'll skip 2 stitches. So you're going to skip the next 2 stitches and then make a single crochet into the 3rd stitch. And then you're going to repeat half double crochet, 3 double crochet in the same stitch, half double crochet, and then a single crochet. Then you're going to skip 2 stitches and repeat. You're going to do that all the way to the end and then come back. This is how your work should look, and mine is coiling up too, so if yours is coiling, that's normal. Then I have a couple of stitches left. I'm just going to slip stitch into that last stitch. So go into the last stitch with your crochet hook and then just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. Then just finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew your rows together. And then you can tie a knot at the end with the loose yarn end. Now you're going to face your petals so that the right side is facing up, and then you have where it's curving up like a bowl. You want this part that curves up to face up, and then the other side is the bottom of the petal. Then you're just going to form a circle, making sure it's not twisted, so untwist it. You're going to form a circle, and then you're just going to coil the rose on itself. So you would lay the next petal down into the previous petal like this, and then just coil it around, making sure that it isn't twisted. You're going to position it how you want your rose to be, making sure that your petals are all visible. So if you need to start with a larger circle, you can do that, and then you'll end up with the little curl in the center. Once you have your rose positioned the way that you want, then you're going to take your tapestry needle, put it onto the long end you left for sewing, and then you're just going to sew your rose the way you have it positioned. So you just go in and out, sewing your rose together, and then come back. Then once your flower is all sewn together, then you can take your loose yarn ends and just bury them into the back anywhere. And then I usually just go in and out a couple of times, and then just cut your loose yarn ends and then come back. Then you have a different style for a rose. For the leaf, you just take your green yarn, and we're going to start with a slip knot. So you just take your yarn, fold it over on itself, and then hold the base with your middle finger and thumb. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 8. Then we're going to move to the next row. Actually, I'm going to make my leaf a little bit longer, so I'm going to make a chain of 10. 9, 10. It's a little bit longer. Then I'm going to chain 1 to go to the next row. Then you're going to make a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Then you're going to make a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Then you're going to make a half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And that should bring you to the last stitch. Go ahead and make one more single crochet into that last stitch. Work behind the loose yarn end as you turn, and we're going to start working on the opposite side. So go into the first stitch and make a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch. Then you're going to make 2 half double crochet. Then you're going to make 3 double crochet. I'm going to go ahead and cut my loose yarn end now because it's nice and buried, and you can see how you're forming a nice leaf. Then I'm going to make a half double crochet and a single crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that first stitch, and then I'm going to finish off and bring enough yarn through to sew your leaf onto the stem of your flower. And you need 2 of these. If you're going to be covering your pen for the flower, then go ahead and get your green yarn, and we're going to make a magic circle. Just drape it across your 4 fingers. Use your thumb to stabilize. Wrap it around your 2 middle fingers. Hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then you're going to bring up a loop, yarn over, and pull the yarn through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then you're going to take your 4-finger and your thumb and hold it at the base of those 6 single crochet. You have 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing, so gently close it. Then take your loose yarn end and pull on that. Then just turn your work so that you have your first stitch facing up. And then go ahead and get your yarn marker. I usually just use my scrap yarn. Just place it right where you left off. And now you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch. And then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 2 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 single crochet into the first, and then 2 into the next. And that should give you a total of 9 stitches in the round. Then you can remove the yarn marker, and if you still have an opening at the bottom, in the center of your magic circle, just turn your work over and you can close it gently. Now you're just going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch around until you get a tube long enough for whatever size pen that you're using. It'll fit right into the tube. After you've made a few rows, go ahead and take your loose yarn end and put it onto your tapestry needle and just weave it into the inside before you turn it inside out. So just go around a couple of times just to make sure that it's buried nicely, and then sometimes I'll just go back the opposite direction too, and that kind of ties it into a knot. And then once you've buried it into your work, then you can go ahead and take your scissors and just cut it. And then go ahead and turn it inside out and continue to make your 1 single crochet into every stitch around until you have the size that will fit your pen that you're using. So you could see about the point where I crocheted up to for my pen. I want to make it so that my pen can come out in and out of the pouch. So what I'm going to do is, and for mine I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 stitches, or rows, rounds. Then I'm going to make a slip stitch into my next stitch over. So you just take your crochet hook, go into that next stitch over, yarn over, and bring the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. Then I'm going to make a V-stitch around the top. So I'm going to make a chain of 4 to start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to double crochet into the same stitch. So just yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through 2, 2 loops remaining, yarn over and go through those 2. And then you're just going to skip 1 stitch and make another V-stitch. So I'm going to make a double crochet, chain 1, and then I'm going to make another double crochet into the same stitch, and that's your V-stitch. So I'm going to make that all the way across the top. Skip a stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch, and I have 1 more V-stitch to make. I'm going to skip a stitch, make a V-stitch right before joining, and then I want to make a slip stitch into the top stitch of the first chain 3. We actually made a chain 4, but I'm only going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of that chain 4. Then I'm just going to yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Go ahead and bury your loose yarn end, and then I'll show you how to make the chain that goes around the top. Before we make the chain that goes into those V-stitches, we're going to make a loop on the side. You're going to take your crochet hook and you're just going to go into anywhere that you want to tie your bow. Just put your crochet hook right through the side. Then you're going to take and hook your yarn. Make a chain 1, tie a knot, make a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go back into the same stitch and make a slip stitch. Then finish off. Just enough to bury into your work. Then you can go ahead and tie a knot with your 2 loose yarn ends, and then you can bury your loose yarn ends. Now you have a little loop here, a little chain 3 loop that you can tie your bow into. So go ahead and bury your loose yarn ends, and then we'll make the chain that goes around the bottom. To make your chain, go ahead and just fold the yarn over on itself. Put your crochet hook through the loop and hold the base with your middle finger and thumb. Then you're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain for the length that you want for the bow. 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and make your chain. When you come back, I'll show you how long my chain is. I made mine a chain of 70. Then I'm going to go ahead and just finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through just to cut the ends off of. So pull down that end to make a snug knot. Then you're going to leave about 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeters and just cut it. Same thing on the other side. Now you're just going to take and weave your tie in and out through those V stitches that you made. You want to make sure that as you're weaving it, that your ends come up to where you made your loop so you can tie your bow right through that loop. So you're just going to take and weave it in and out through the top of the V stitches. And then come out, make sure that you come out right where you went in. Then you're just going to take and make sure that both ends are the same length. Then you can take your pin, put your pin in, cinch down the top, making sure that your ends are even. You can tie just one, cinch it down with just one, don't tie a knot, and that keeps your pin inside. Just pull it down snugly. Then you can take and loop the other end through that little chain 3 loop that you created. You can loop both of them through if you want, but I'm just going to loop one, and then I'm just going to tie a bow. You don't want to tie a knot because then it will be hard for you to remove. the knot in the pen. So you just tie a pretty bow, and then you have the pen secured in there, and you're still able to get your pen out. So you can exchange pens if you need to. The rose that goes on the top of your pen can either be the vintage rose that I show you how to make, and there's also a separate video tutorial for my other easy rose. So either rose would be fine, whatever style that you prefer. Now you can take your tapestry needle with the green colored yarn, and we're going to sew the flower onto the stem. Just take your tapestry needle and just go right through the end of the pen. Leave enough yarn for burying into your work, and then just take the bottom of your rose and you're going to go right through with your tapestry needle, right through the bottom. Make sure that you don't go through the top of your flower. Then you can go ahead and tie a knot. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on my pen. And that is just keep going in and out and sewing your flower on top of the end of your pen, and then come back. To make the crochet leaf, you're just going to take your green yarn, just fold it over on itself to form a loop. Put your crochet hook right through the loop. Hold the base with your middle finger and your thumb, and then you're going to make a chain of 10 after you make your slip knot. So a chain of 10. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So take your crochet hook, go into the second chain from the hook. You're going to make a single crochet, so bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through both for a single crochet. Then you're going to make a half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Then you're going to make a half double crochet into the next stitch. And then you're going to make a single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then in that last stitch, you're going to make an extra single crochet, and then you're going to turn your work so that you're going to start working along the opposite side. And at the same time, you're going to bury your loose yarn end. So you're going to work behind the loose yarn end. So go into that first stitch behind the loose yarn end, make a single crochet into the next stitch. Then you're going to make a half double crochet. Then you're going to make 3 double crochets. This is how my work looks so far. Let's see if I can, yeah. So now 3 double crochets. Then I'm going to make a half double crochet into the next stitch, but first I'm going to cut my loose yarn end because I buried it enough. This is how your work should be looking so far. I'm going to make a half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Actually, that was my last stitch, so I'm going to make a single crochet in my last stitch. Then I'm going to make a slip stitch into the first stitch that I made. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're just going to finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through so you can sew the leaf onto your project. And you're going to need 2 leaves. Once you have your flower sewn on, then you can take your leaf. You can either make 1 or 2 leaves and just place those where you want them and then sew those in place.